we are in Africa, and that in Africa it is very difficult to remove a sitting president who is looking for his second term.
Do you know, I've been telling people it's usually very difficult on African soil to defeat a president who is looking for his second term.
Edwin Sifuna is becoming a pillar in the opposition. I think is the only link that is still gripping on Raila Amolo Odinga not to go and work with dictator William Ruto. Edwin Sifuna comes from the Western. These are the bright minds that are needed. Edwin Sifuna, if he does politics very well, is going to be the president of this nation one day. He's coming out to attack the big-bellied MUDAVADI. MUDAVADI being at the helm of the Western Kenya politics is the reason that's why the Western will never be presidents, or even deputy president. The least they can get is maybe speaker, which is a position which is magnanimous. Just give them. MUDAVADI at one time came out to say that he's the one who made the way, so that's why they're in government. He has made 3 decisions when they have been in opposition. It's his young thugs like Boni Khalwale and others who pulled him to Ruto. The actual person who would tell the Western Kenya that now if their son is in government, it must be Boni Khalwale because he was the first. So Cleophas Edwin Sifuna came out and attacked MUDAVADI for making unfortunate statement that it is hard to win people from Africa, especially at the president level. Sifuna gave him viboko. And that's why I like Sifuna. Sifuna is very deadly. In fact, at first, I wasn't a great supporter of Sifuna during the senatorial bid, although he was even better. If you compare him with the contender, I think that lady, the bishop. Okay, but now her levels, his stake is so high. Sifuna is a man to watch. Sifuna came out and lectured MUDAVADI like a kid. He said these statements. Listen very carefully because it's going to form a basis of our discussion. Here's the tape.
I have had some political leaders claim that we are in Africa, and that in Africa it is very difficult to remove a sitting president who is looking for his second term. He forgets there are people like Raila who made history by annulling a presidential election. Kenya is not like the rest of Africa. We are not the rest of Africa where these things happen. You understand? So, don't tell us about Uganda. Sure. Are we Uganda? Are you saying that with all due respect to my friends from Uganda? We are not Uganda. So, Justice Ndanaola and your team, for that courage to demonstrate that Kenya can be different. Kenya can be different. We don't have to be like the other African countries. We want to remind these people that on the day that Kenyans speak, all this bravado you see, the Senior Council of People Mudai, the good thing with me, I have the benefit of being in the exact same position that the people who are in power now are in. We were the ones making all those statements of bravado, deep state, and putting up brave faces saying, oh, tutakuja tufagie mwisho moja, wacha azunguke, sisi tukiingia mambo itakuwa tofauti. They are in the exact same position. We have been there saying, oh, this is people are deep state. What the experience of 2022 taught me is that you, as the voters, are more powerful than these people actually. But you are more powerful, and never see that power. I have every confidence that when Kenyans express themselves, there is nobody who is going to be able to overturn the will of the people. So that's me.
Sifuna is coming out to say that he was in the position. I remember those people who were allying with Raila came out to say now they have this. Even the brother of Raila, that old man who's supposed to be in the village treating sick people. okay, came out to say that now they have the deep state. Propagandists came out to say if the president and the opposition leader work together, you cannot defeat them. Because they were seeing with logic, they were just seeing with their feelings, not logic. Not knowing that the Kenyan people's voice is supreme. I saw MUDAVADI with his big belly standing in front of the people saying that it's very hard to defeat African presidents. It only shows that the only problem is the African presidents are dictators. So he was confirming that William Ruto is a dictator. Because whenever there is no democracy, it's hard to defeat someone because he will do some machinations. So MUDAVADI was confirming that Ruto is not a Democrat. Since he's eating, he doesn't want his place to be taken away. Instead of MUDAVADI as a Prime Cabinet Secretary coming out to say that people vote for UDA because we've done this and this and we are doing this in progress. He's coming out to say you cannot defeat Ruto. Anyone can be defeated. Kenya is different. Kenya is the biggest democracy in East Africa. MUDAVADI must be syrupped. Young Turks like Sifuna are the people to watch. In fact, the Western should prepare these young Turks, Natembe, Sifuna and others, because MUDAVADI and Wetangula, they are becoming a mess. A person who now doesn't even have a political party. A person who was even in his county, Vihiga, you cannot even influence the MP and the governor, and you come out to speak. MUDAVADI, you are not inconsequential in the Kenyan politics. You have no influence even in your home county, and you come out to lecture people that Ruto cannot be defeated. Ruto is the worst president Kenya is going to have, and is going to be defeated with more than 50%. A government that is running trial and molding for protection, it always says a lot. A government is in a position where it can be strong to protect itself. If it can go to run trial for protection, it shows you how you are doing bad. For those who never heard MUDAVADI speaking, he said these statements.
Do you know, I've been telling people it's usually very difficult on African soil to defeat a president who is looking for his second term. If you go back, we now go back to the era of Moi. We move away from his first 14 years when it was single party. We now come to multipartism in 1992. When the original Ford, ile ya kina Matiba, Muliro, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Shikuku, Paul Mwite, name them. Well, when they gathered in Kamkunji, everybody said, Moi amekwisha, hakuna njia, dunia imeenda.
So, first of all, before I continue with this video, comparing the current day Kenya with the period of Moi is even an embarrassment. In the 21st century, we are talking about the president who even died as a dictator. You're only confirming that Ruto is taking the same footsteps. Even with, by the way, Moi never won, he used to win election by 32%, 35%. If you're in the current constitution, it would be defeated. So comparing the two, MUDAVADI, you are disgrace, not only to the Kenyan people, but to the people of the Western. They disown you. So MUDAVADI was painting a picture that Ruto cannot be defeated. He went back to as far as Moi, he came to Kibaki. Stupid.
And there were massive defections. People were running away to defect, thinking that that is where it will be easy. Moi then told them, mimi ni professor wa siasa, ngoja tu utaona. After a while, the original Ford was scattered into 4 pieces. 4. Moi walked back into office. Through the ballot, he won. By the time the opposition was saying, how did it happen? He had been voted in, because people had cast the ballot. When it came to 1997, Moi calculated he had one more term under the new constitution at that time. Again, they thought it was whatever. Moi maneuvered, campaigned, Moi won. Kibaki came in 2002 because Moi was no longer on the ballot. And Kibaki won. This is so important to our people. Please listen to me. We then moved from there. We came to the one of 2007 because Kibaki won 2002 without any challenge. We came to 2007. Mimi na wakina Umbima hapa na wengine tukakuwa kwa ODM. When we had that ndizi na chungwa, tukazunguka. In 2005 when we won the referendum, tukafikiri tumeshinda. Huyu mzee Kibaki sijui alikuwa alisema hiyo ilikuwa referendum, haikuwa general election. Kufika general election in 27.
I feel annoyed. Zero orator powers, he speaks like he's swallowing something, saliva, justifying that Ruto cannot be defeated. Ruto is going to be defeated hands down come 2027. Ruto is also in the panic mood. He's trying to downplay the slogan of one term, not knowing that he used the same slogan, kazi ni kazi and hustler. In fact, Sifuna said it even more better when he talked about sloganeering. He said these statements. Here's a tape.
Lastly, we're being told, Honorable Kalonzo, we must be brave, we must be bold. Saving a nation, this is like an existential fight for this very soul of this country. Saving a nation is not an easy task. We must be bold. The very people who ascended to power on the back of a slogan, we are running around just saying hustler. Nobody even understood what hustler means. Those same people are saying we cannot do the very same and go on a slogan. One word. Say it yourself.
That is real. A person who is now abusing people who are using slogan that they should talk about what they are going to do is still doing the same thing. Because first of all, in history, fear a person who can coin a slogan. People don't think when they are using a slogan. And that's the success of Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua is the founder of this one-term chant. He started this in Githurai under the bridge. He said one term, Sema one term. It's now moving. Even ODM people are using it. It causes glitters in their stomachs and heads. It shows you how Rigathi Gachagua big is. Okay? So William Ruto and MUDAVADI should stop propaganda peddling that they cannot be defeated. In Kenya, everyone can be defeated. It was shown in 2022 when the deep state wanted to rig out Ruto. God's will plus the will of the Kenyan people, it prevailed. And that is going to prevail. One of the most scary attributes for Ruto is the mountain is gone. By the way, if he had the mountain, he would still be bragging. The mountain is a catalyst of the presidency, even if you don't like it since independence, and it has gone. It depends on who they will combine with, and I pray they combine with the Western Kenya. Kalonzo is already there. In other areas, they will just pick votes. And the person who have those two backings is going to be the president. And there's no such person other than Gachagua. It's the fact. The Kisii are now moving on. Matiang'i is bringing the block. So let nobody lie to you that Kasongo is not going home. Of course, that's my opinion. And remain yours truly, Mr. Mark. Of course, that's my opinion. Do make comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.